This right here gonna be a cakewalk.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today I want to do a full review of the entire story for Tekken 7. Before we get into this, be sure to leave a like on the video and also subscribe to the channel. Share the video on social media with your friends, with families. With that being said, I want to jump right into this review. Once you do click story mode and start the story, the narrator really does suck you out of it. Just hearing his voice at the start of it isn't really the way to go. The narrator kind of starts off with telling a story about himself, which is kind of cool in a sense because it gives us a different perspective on the war, right? What G Corporation Mishima Zaibatsu is doing, but just his tone and his emotions make it boring. From that moment on, it kind of cuts to Heihachi coming back in Tekken 7 to reclaim the throne. If Heihachi is able to show up and take over the Mishima Zaibatsu so easily, he walks in there and beats up Nina, he beats up everyone and takes it. You have to wonder why Lars didn't do it, you have to wonder why Lei didn't do it, and also Kazuya. Now, I know some people say Kazuya doesn't want the Mishima Zaibatsu, he wants to destroy it, but it's like, why didn't he go in there, take control of it, and then just destroy it from the top down? Once Heihachi takes control of the Mishima Zaibatsu, he announces the King of the Iron Fist Tournament 7. Now, what's interesting about this, it doesn't look like the King of the Iron Fist Tournament starts, or if it starts, it doesn't look like it's concluded. As the story progresses, the King of Iron Fist tournament is stopped. To tell the world that I have died and the tournament is off. Oh, so the tournament actually never happens in Tekken 7. Is that true? He said, tell the world I have died and the tournament is off. I also think the tournament aspect, the King of Iron Fist, should have been scrapped. Once Jin started World War III Tekken 6, I feel like at that point, who in their right mind is going to go into a tournament? When you frame some of these events in the concept of war, you feel like other nations wouldn't allow this to happen. Now, they have a little segment in here where they skip back to Tekken 4 and they're talking about Kazuya and Heihachi, but this is more so building up their story, giving people who never played Tekken before insight into the background. And I also think it was really cool how they expanded on Tekken 4 like this. Showed a cutscene and they had a fight scene take place right after. That was a cool idea. And something that I have to say too, the ways that some of these fights start and finish is really cool. They really blend the lines between cutscenes and gameplay so well, and I think they don't give enough credit for that. Easy. Wait, what? What? A third? What is he? Stop. Oh my god. What? It pulled me so much closer to him. Oh, okay, that's how it's supposed to go. That's how it's supposed to go. One thing that I did not know about this, so I guess I'm a casual myself, is that in Tekken 4, G Corporation betrayed Kazuya, and that is why the Jack Robots was sent there. And after that, he went there this time after they betrayed him. He probably reconstructed the whole entire company. And I think this is where some of my criticisms come into mind. In my mind, I think he would go and he would get rid of the people who betrayed him and then replace them with people he trusts. Characters like Bruce. There's many instances throughout the story where Kazuya is talking to these faceless soldiers. And I think these scenes would have been so much more powerful if it was Bruce. Heihachi and Nina, they go to recruit Claudio and his legion of sorcerers. But it didn't make sense to me because he goes and he beats up all the soldiers, he beats up Claudio, and he forces him to join his team. But after talking with Claudio for like a few minutes, he basically just tells Claudio, okay, you can go now, which is kind of odd because you have a sorcerer here who can stop the Devil Gene. This kind of power is something Heihachi needed. I'm not saying that them getting rid of Claudio is a bad decision. I think that's actually a good decision because it shows that he's so cocky that he's sending his one ticket to getting rid of the Devil Chin away. One thing that was kind of distracting too, you have three characters all speaking different languages to each other. Heihachi speaking Japanese, Claudio speaking Italian, and then Nina speaking English. I know the tech community wants all these characters to speak their native language, but when you're watching a story, seeing three different languages all at once in the same conversation, it's just something that's unnatural about that. Especially Europeans. Europeans, they could speak many languages. Same with Korea and Japan. I think US is the only one who speaks one language. Some USA could speak Mexican, or wait, no, not Mexican, what is it, Spanish? And one thing I was thinking about for this moment, so you know how Raven finds Jin, but he puts Jin in a helicopter all by himself. You have random soldiers protecting Jin, and I'm assuming Raven got in a different helicopter because he's going to a different location. The biggest plot hole I see is once Jin shoots that laser and blows up that helicopter, once that signal is lost, you would have Raven immediately turn around and go to where that signal disappeared at. Adding that little piece into the story would have been so cool, because you see soldiers immediately find him. One of the biggest letdowns with the Tekken story is how underused a lot of the other characters are. If the developers took a split second to think, how can we work this character into the story? How can we work this character into the story? It would be so much cooler and the stakes would be so much higher. I couldn't help but just imagine different scenarios where characters were showing up and impacting the story as the event was playing out. When I was watching this, I would have loved if Harang actually showed up too, because in Harang's ending, he shows up and he takes a grenade for Jin. Now they just show this scene where Akuma is standing on a rock and it looks like a whole city gets bombed. This is what I mean when I say, who would go to a tournament during a war? One attack like this on the stadium would end the Tekken series as we know it. It would only be Jin, Kazuya, and Heihachi left. All the other characters will be gone. Now this part here takes some explaining if you haven't played Tekken 6. Lars takes Alyssa at the end of Tekken 6 to Lee, and he tells Lee two things. One, repair her, and two, get rid of the programming that Jin installed. Jin had programming that allowed him to control Alyssa with voice commands, and Lars had that removed. He had Lei remove it. So that is where this picks up. You have a little fight scene where Alyssa is kind of confused a little bit as to what's happening. She attacks Lee because she doesn't recognize him. Now, immediately after Lee restores her memory, they are attacked by the Mishima Zaibatsu. These guys are good. They got into the laboratory without setting off any alarms. Oh, now you detect the enemies. The room is full of smoke and now you start detecting enemies. We could have told you that. Now this chapter ends with the attack failing. Alyssa and Lee fights off the soldiers and Heihachi is like, that attack was so sloppy, and he tells Nina, you don't get any second chances, but then gives her a second chance. Wow, amazing work, Heihachi, amazing. In the next chapter, you have Lee and Alyssa walking into another Violet Systems building that it specifically says he gave this building to Lars and all of his soldiers under his command. So as he's walking into his own building, Lars pulls a gun on him. I think out of the whole entire story, this one scene is the dumbest, I have to say. In Tekken 6, at the end, you trusted Lee so much that you brought Alyssa's destroyed body to him. And then the next time you see him, after you assume he did what you asked him to do, you pull a gun. This just doesn't make sense to me. I feel like they did this just for people who don't know the story and to add tension. People who know the story realizes how dumb this is. And then what's even funnier about this, Lars turned his head a little bit to the right and see Alyssa. It's like you idiot, not only did you not even recognize your own ally who you trusted in Tekken 6, you miss your whole little love robot. In this scene, Lars is a idiot. So the whole lore behind Kazumi and Akuma is Kazumi saved Akuma's life. To repay her, Akuma is going to take out Heihachi and Kazuya.
Akuma is the biggest simp. You call Akuma a simp? He is a simp.
Akuma waited all this time for them to get stronger, and now that he feels like they're his equals, he's showing up to challenge them, which actually makes perfect sense for Akuma to do. Akuma doesn't care about the state of the war. He doesn't care about the world. He wants tough competitors. He wants a good fight. And it would make sense for him to wait.
I'm here to beat you guys up because Kazumi told me to. I have to protect her honor. He's repaying her back. She did something for him. What did she do for him? Is that not said? Well, we'll find out in like 6 years from Harada on Twitter.
Now, at the end of the fight, Akuma and Heihachi match off. Hadouken versus Electric Wind God Fist. Hadouken wins. Akuma is the only one left standing. Heihachi is nowhere to be found and he is presumed dead. That is how the chapter ends. Kazuya is watching the whole thing and is just laughing. And I feel like there's some mixed emotions there. One, he's kind of laughing because how absurd it is. And two, it's like not only does his father want him dead, but his mother and also son. That must hurt. Your whole entire family does not like you. That's just a lot to deal with, you know? The last 2 or 3 chapters of the story is really amazing. You have Akuma showing up to challenge Kazuya. They're fighting on top of the Millennium Tower. And at the same time, Heihachi is spying on them with a satellite, broadcasting this stuff from many different angles. And then he leaks all of that stuff to the public. And the reason why he's doing that is because he's trying to win the war in 2 ways. One, he's actually trying to get rid of Kazuya and Jin, but also he doesn't want to be seen as the bad guy for doing so. He's exposing the evil and the demons in the shadows. So once he does confront them, he will be seen as a hero for doing so. The story really surprises you in a lot of different ways in this last chapter, and I really feel like it's so cool to see all of these different things come together. This is a major misconception in the story. A lot of the community believes that Kazumi showed up as an adult to keep him under control, but that is not what happens in the story. In the story, Kazumi shows up as a child. She has to be no older than, I would say, 10 or 11. And Heihachi said this is Jinpachi's dojo and they both are training as rivals. They both are growing together. And then in the next scene, we see that rivalry turned into love, basically. They had a kid and that was Kazuya. Now I'm guessing 1 or 2, 3 years after having Kazuya, Kazumi collapses on the floor and she's burning up. And it's not explained to us what happens in this moment, but Kazumi, she walks in and says, "One day you'll become a threat to this world," and she immediately just starts attacking. I'm wondering if the Hydro clan did something to her, just seeing as how she was with Heihachi since she was a child all the way up until now. I just don't understand when in there she would have been able to create this bond with the Hydro clan also. I don't know if that will be explored in Tekken 8, but there's a lot of question marks here. And I'm not saying that it's bad or it's plot holes, I'm just saying there's a lot here we don't know.
Dang.
Playing this story a second time through, I really felt the impact of Heihachi's death. And I really wanted to stick going into Tekken 8 because I feel like that would undermine this story so much if he returns. Not only would it pretty much make Heihachi immortal, this would be like his 4th or 5th time escaping death, but I feel like it would just completely destroy all the progress and everything that was set up in Tekken 7. Overall, I think the story was really good. Of course, there's some things in there that can be nitpicked, but overall, the narrative that they're telling, the story that they're trying to get across to the players, I really enjoyed it. In Tekken 8, if they tweak some of the things and they learn from some of the mistakes, the story can be one of the best in fighting games. I would have to give the King of the Iron Fist tournament 7, a score of 7 out of 10. Too many plot holes and mistakes for the story to be considered perfect or to be excellent, but at the same time, the way they're moving it, the way it's all thought out and it's planned, it's really good. You cannot say this story is bad. You cannot. It definitely hits you in all the right places. I only wish at the end of it that more characters were involved. But that's going to be it for my breakdown. Please be sure to let me know what you think about this in the comment section. You love it, you hate it, maybe the rating you would give it. I really enjoyed playing the story and I'm looking forward to what comes next in Tekken 8. That's going to be it though. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching and bye bye.